Panyaza Lesufi, Gautengse premier en voorbok van die anti-Afrikaanse ideoloë wat Afrikaanse skole en kinders aktief teiken, mors jou belastinggeld. Hy val Afrikaans aan.
And therefore, President, sign that particular law. We'll debate later.
If I want to dismantle those, I can do it over a signature on a pen.
Gooi miljarde weg op korrupte tenders en mislukte misdaadbestryders en probeer gratis maar onwerkbare gesondheidstelsels afdwing.
You can go to any hospital of your choice.
Genoeg is genoeg. Lesufi moet waai.
AfriForum and many other organizations that are coming in our country to represent a certain race and a certain language must not be tolerated.
Die openbare sentiment teen Lesufi is besig om druk op te bou. Jou ondersteuning maak 'n verskil. Dis tyd dat ons opstaan teen korrupsie, wanbestuur en die voortdurende aanvalle op ons taal en ons regte deur Lesufi. Sy mislukkings het 'n groot tol geëis op ons land. Ons kan nie meer toekyk hoe miljarde rande in die verkeerde hande beland nie, terwyl ons mense aan misdaad, swak dienslewering en onwerkbare planne oorgelaat word. Lesufi moet waai.
Why are organizations like the Democratic Alliance and AfriForum so focused on leaders like Panyaza Lesufi and Julius Malema? Is it really about defending rights, or is it about maintaining the privileges of the past? Today we are going to explore why anyone advocating for redress and social justice becomes a target, and why some black South Africans continue to support the DA despite our painful history. Let's dive in. Hello everyone, Kondos here from Inequality. It's time where we discuss the issues that truly matters for the future of our nation. Today we are exploring the ongoing tension between leaders like Panyaza Lesufi and Julius Malema and organizations like AfriForum and the Democratic Alliance. It's becoming clear that advocating for redress and social justice in South Africa can make you a target. But why? And how does this connect with the surprising support the DA has from some black voters, despite our history of injustice? Let's unpack it all. Panyaza Lesufi, the Premier of Gauteng, and Julius Malema, the leader of the economic freedom fighters, have been outspoken about the need for transformation in South Africa. They have advocated for policies like land reform, better access to quality education, and economic empowerment to uplift black communities. But this has made them targets of criticism from AfriForum and the DA, who often frame their opposition as a defense of constitutional rights and stability. Is it truly about democracy, or is it about maintaining the status quo that have benefited a few?
Mr. Panyaza Lesufi's statement that AfriForum wants to murder him is far-fetched. Well, it's actually ludicrous. The fact is he cannot have proof for that because it's simply not true. Secondly, he does not want to retract the statement, and therefore we have no choice but to take him to court. The fact is we cannot allow an attention-seeking politician like Mr. Lesufi to use lies to create polarization in our society. We will fight that, and that is why we are going to see him in court.
Reluctant to speak on AfriForum. I mean, all of you know why they will target me. They will target me because for the very, very first time, the children that are on the queue requesting classrooms are no longer one color. It's everyone. And some people are not used to that. They're used to get their privileges protected. They will target me because they know that for the very, very first time, I was one of the few people that resisted their dubious attempt to build an Africans-only university in this country, to exclude those that need access to education. Indeed, they will target me because there are schools that are named after apartheid leaders like Hendrik Verwoerd that have changed their name. Do you think they will be happy? Surely not. They will target me because I'm vocal on the issue of non-racialism, something that is foreign to them. If you check their record is very, very clear. I mean, there are two farmers that killed a black child in Northwest. They paid the bail for that family, for those farmers. They're in court as we speak now, defending an apartheid flag. So, an institution of that nature, you must know, when we developed the constitution of our country, we had a rainbow nation and Mandela in our mind. We never thought there would be organizations like AfriForum that will abuse the constitution of our country for the racist tendencies. So such organizations, we didn't have them in mind when we were formulating our constitution. So they are taking advantage of the constitution, and they are promoting or taking advantage of genuine fears of certain section of our society and abuse those fears to meet their interest.
The Democratic Alliance and AfriForum claim they are simply defending constitutional principles like property rights and equality. But many critics see their actions as efforts to preserve privileges inherited from apartheid. For example, AfriForum's strong stance against land reform and their emphasis on Afrikaans language education often come across as a way to protect systems that benefit the minority whites. Similarly, the DA's opposition to Black Economic Empowerment, BEE, is framed as a fight against divisive racial policies, but it can also be seen as overlooking the economic imbalances that still exist. The history of apartheid is central to this debate. It's a history that left deep scars. Economic power, land, and wealth concentrated in the hands of a white minority, while black South Africans were excluded. Leaders like Lesufi and Malema argue that without addressing these imbalances through deliberate policies, real equality will never be achieved. This is why they push for changes that uplift marginalized communities. But groups like AfriForum and the DA often reject these efforts, advocating for a colorblind approach that doesn't fully take our history into account. But can we really ignore the past when it shapes the inequalities of today? Now, let's talk about the surprising support the DA receives from some black South Africans. Many might wonder, given our history of racial discrimination, why would some support a party that opposes transformative policies? Well, there are a few reasons. 1. Frustration with the ANC. Many black voters are frustrated with the African National Congress due to corruption, mismanagement, and the slow pace of economic progress. For them, the DA is seen as a party that promises better governance and service delivery. 2. Desire for economic stability. Some voters prioritize stability, fearing that radical changes like land expropriation without compensation could hurt the economy. They see the DA's market-friendly stance as a safeguard for their livelihoods. 3. Hoping for unity. Some resonate with the DA's vision of a colorblind society, hoping that by focusing less on race, the country can move forward. But is this really the solution, or does it ignore the realities of systemic inequality?
The Democratic Alliance in Gauteng has accused Lesufi of failing to release 170 forensic investigation reports in an effort to protect fellow comrades who are allegedly implicated. It alleges that while the public is waiting for the release of the documents, officials could be doctoring the findings of the forensic reports. DA Gauteng leader Solim Simanga said they would be approaching the Office of the Public Protector and the Auditor General for answers.
Premier Lesufi needs to do the right thing and make sure that they release those reports and release them with a matter of urgency. We need to make sure that these forensic reports are released to us. We are putting again another PI application to them today. We are putting another PI application to make sure that we then get these reports. Failure to which we will actually then be left with no option but to approach the presidency in this regard, because we are saying that this is a matter that cannot continue unabated.
But the Office of the Premier maintains that they have released all the forensic reports. They're seeking clarity as to which reports the DA is referring to.
All of the reports that they hinted on were released on in the second month of Premier's tenure in 2022. Last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, we had a media session where we released the audit outcomes of all the heads of departments in the Gauteng Provincial Administration. So we have no idea what they are talking about. Until such time they are specific as to what are these reports and what were they about, we're in no position to really entertain the allegations.
In my view, we need to brace ourselves for a continued antagonistic relationship between the Democratic Alliance and the African National Congress in the Gauteng province. Let's remind the viewers that what we are observing today as the press briefing of the DA regarding the release of the forensic investigation reports, it's a continuation of the deadlock that took place between the DA and the ANC in the establishment of a government of provincial unity. We know what happened. Thereafter, we know what happened in the city of Joburg, wherein the African National Congress, together with other small parties, were able to constitute a coalition government exclusive of the Democratic Alliance. And just recently, the Action SA, the ANC and other parties were able to unseat the Democratic Alliance within the city of Tshwane. Now, all of those things talks to the fact that in the province of Gauteng, as opposed to the national political space, the relationship between the Democratic Alliance and the African National Congress is non-existent. And that is the reason why we would see the DA going to the public, raising several issues which will look very legitimate, they will look very sound, but in the main, there are underlying factors, and the underlying factors is the disagreements which they had post the national and provincial government elections.
It's clear that figures like Lesufi and Malema represent a push for a different future, one where historical wrongs are actively addressed. But their opponents argue that their approach is divisive and threatens stability. This clash exposes a deeper question. Is South Africa willing to confront its past and embrace bold changes? Or are we too afraid of what true transformation might mean for those who have historically held power? While AfriForum and the DA speak of rights and stability, it's hard to ignore how often their positions align with preserving the privileges of the past. So the real issue is not just about Lesufi or Malema, it's about South Africa's path forward. Are we going to choose transformation and justice, or will we cling to a status quo that keeps the scales unbalanced? Whether you see the actions of AfriForum and the DA as a defense of rights or as a way to preserve privilege, it's a debate that affects every South African, and it's a debate that is far from over.
Our time will come at the right moment. That there is leadership that must take us to the next. But that leadership must not have a carte blanche. And that leadership must know that will not tolerate things that will not make the African National Congress to be what is it. What I can say, and which unfortunately you said when we started this, you don't know who will be in the bad books after this. I can say that to rule out the possibilities of working with those that were in the battle trenches with them, it will be short-sightedness. That there is an urgent need for us to bring everyone as we wanted to bring, but you bring those that share ideology with you.
Sure.
You bring those that are closer to the situation that we are in. You bring those that fully understand where we are. And the ability of white people, you know the article when Bella Bill was written, one Sunday newspaper says that the leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen, called President Ramaphosa, and it sounded like he instructed him to call the leader of AfriForum and Solidarity. And the president is quoted there that he called and the call was not picked up, and this person returned the call of the president and rudely asked the president, "Who are you?" When he heard the voice, that is a black person.
Sure.
So clearly the DA is working with AfriForum. Clearly the DA is working with Solidarity. Clearly the DA is working with these conservative political parties. But what they do now, a leader like myself or people like myself say, no, DN is EFF. This one is MK. And they then characterize that as a doomsday relationship. But that relationship must be left untouched with AfriForum that went to court to defend an apartheid flag.
And that's not doomsday either, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. So the short-sightedness of some of our leaders to believe that the DA, Freedom Front, Solidarity, AfriForum love us. I don't know where it comes from. And that if they love us, we must hate EFF, we must hate MK, we must hate other political parties purely because they feel much better when they are united, and we must feel otherwise when we are divided. And I'm saying we must enter that era and find a way of having leaders that can lead us to consolidate and ensure that we work together with those that share our aspirations.
Absolutely.
ASAPO is still there. The PAC is still there. And the need for us to say on the eve of the establishment of the freedom that we enjoy now in 1994, the ANC leadership at that time established something called the Patriotic Alliance. They even brought Bantustan leaders to say, on the basis that you understand where we come from, how do we work together to defeat those that wants to take us back? It can't be right at that time and be wrong now with the political parties that are there. So the sooner open-mindedly engage and defend what we think is right, non-racialism, defend what is right, transformation, defend what is right, economic freedom, defend what is right, our land to come back. We can't be narrow in our approach and think that those battles can only be fought and be defended only within the ANC. But to remain in government, we'll want these people to assist us to remain in government. The power lies with those that share our ideology, our aspiration, and those that understand the pain and the frustration of our people, the poverty of our people, the unemployment that our people are going through. That is it not time that we find a vehicle or a mode that can assist us to build this solid front that can defend our children, so that our children must not go through the pain I've gone through, that our children must not be challenged for their existence, and our children must not be told that we belong to a different culture, I belong to a different culture, we can't be in the same school. That's the kind of energy and space I want to spend, rather than spend my energy to say I want to be a leader of a country, or a leader of a political party. Let others lead us there. We will invest in ensuring that we defend what we committed to do when we were detained, when we were still in our teenage years. I was denied my years to go to a nightclub. I was denied years to fall in love with people at an early stage. I was denied that opportunity. I can't deny that to my children. And that's my belief. So any other person that, and I've seen many people who is ambitious, want to be a president, they are barking at the wrong tree and crying at the wrong funeral. My standpoint is that there is a generation before us and there are leaders that can take us to the next stage. I'm still wet behind my ears, and I really believe that there are proper leaders that can take us to the next stage of our revolution.
Now, I want to hear from you Do you think AfriForum and the DA are truly defending democracy, or are they holding onto privileges of the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video enlightening, please like, share, and subscribe to Inkari. It's time. In our next episode, we'll dive deeper into how economic policies can either uplift or hold back our society. You won't want to miss it. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's build a better South Africa together. Until next time, it's Kondos signing out. Thanks for watching and take care.